Oh no, it's not working. Why is it not even fucking plugged in?
Check. Wild Leo recap appears. For our first story, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been so mad at your wife that you steal a jet, then crash it into your house? Well, this guy was. Last week, 47-year-old Dwayne Yude was arrested after witnesses reported he was having an ongoing assault with his wife. Apparently, he had punched her, tried to drag her out of a truck. She jumped on the hood of the truck. He took off swerving, trying to get her off of the truck. That's when police called up to him and arrested him. He was released a few hours earlier, went back over to his house to get some belongings under the supervision of the local sheriff's department, then he headed over to the Spanish Forks airport. When he arrived at the airport, he stole a Cessna 525 Citation jet and then drove it directly into his house where his wife and his adult son were. Fortunately for those inside of the house, Dwayne wasn't as good of a pilot as he thought, and he only managed to kill a parked car, the house, and himself. The crash was caught on security cameras from a business down the road. Next up, on Saturday, August the 4th, the family of Florida man Tony Butler was hosting a peace rally in a Titusville park. A while back, Tony had been shot to death and they found his body inside of a burned up car. Attending the peace rally that Tony's family was throwing everyone to say, hey, you know, we can all be peaceful, we don't have to shoot and kill each other, were about 150 children along with their families. But during the peace rally where they were supposed to be celebrating peace, a man showed up looking for someone he was involved in a dispute with 3 weeks earlier during a basketball game, got into a fist fight with that person, went to his car, got a gun, and then fired off shots into the park. This is when a brave armed bystander confronted the man and put a bullet in his head. The shooter was placed in critical condition and the person who shot him will not be charged with anything. Got another video out of Florida where the pigs and cows worked hand in hand to catch a fleeing suspect. Seminole County Sheriff's Department was in pursuit of a woman who was in a stolen vehicle when she decided to bail out of the vehicle and run into a field full of beautiful blue line bovines.
Turning right onto Sipes, southbound Sipes Avenue. Up, signal 4. Signal 4, Sipes and Celery. Bail out. Okay, driver's bailing, still got a passenger in the vehicle. South and east of you, actually the large group of cows is following her for a good visual. Looks like they may attack her.
102 alert, I'm gonna give you my flashlight, you can tell me where to go from here.
Keep going southeast. She's pretty far into the field now. If you see the large group of cows, they're literally following her and chasing her.
Yeah, I'm bracing her side.
Alright, alert, we got her lit up. Hey, alert, Sanford. If one of y'all could go east on Celery, there's a driveway that cuts to the south there, it might help.
The cows ended up chasing her right into the hands of waiting police officers. Next up, out of Bellingham, Washington, police were called to the scene of a fight, but arrived to find a man dangling his dangly bits out of a window. Police officers attempted to talk the man down at first, but it appeared that he was either having a mental crisis or he was on some serious shit, so they decided to fight balls with balls. Fearing that the man was a harm to himself or others, they were able to push him back away from the window with pepper balls, and he was taken into custody a few moments later. Next up, out of Meridia, Mississippi, a 12-year-old girl stole her mother's car and started doing donuts around her local trailer park at about 70 to 80 miles an hour, according to witnesses. Deputies showed up, started pursuing the girl, and tried to lay down some spike strips. That's exactly what Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department Sergeant Chris Kokel was doing before the girl slammed into him on purpose with the stolen vehicle.
Oh, God. Bro, he hit the police, bro.
She then turned around and started heading back towards the deputy. That's when another deputy opened fire.
They feel like they bitch up.
The shots can be heard in the video by the officer who is attempting to stop the car. She did stop the car and was arrested without being injured. Reports are stating that Sergeant Kokel did suffer a fractured wrist and some other injuries, but is expected to live. Next up, out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, we have an officer who is an absolute Taser Sniper. On August 15th, officers got into a little foot chase with a man who was wanted on a felony warrant. Too bad for the guy who was running. The officer who was chasing him was a scout sniper with proficiency on the X-26. That was easily a 15-foot shot with a taser. Damn near impossible, I say.
Single shots for the engine block.
Oh, ice cream truck, really? Really? Really ice cream truck? First it's Mexican polka music and chihuahuas barking, and now it's the ice cream truck. I'm never gonna finish this video.
Anyways, the guy completely planks out mid-stride and gives the pavement a little kiss. And then Facebook deleted the Blue Lives Matter article about this incident because my friend, administrator, and writer over at Blue Lives Matter, Chris Berg, said that he pissed himself laughing at this clip. So if you do repost this story on Facebook, please don't mention anything about laughing at it. Next up, just the other day, a double murder suspect who was on the FBI's most wanted list for killing 2 men was caught doing the kiki challenge after landing in Michigan. So funny. Look, Twitter agrees. What a funny guy. How cool is that? He only shot 2 people and then executed them in cold blood from point blank range, shooting one in the face and then the other one in the head. But kiki challenge. What a wacky character. Next up, the start of the zombie apocalypse was narrowly avoided the other day after 70 plus people overdosed on some of that synthetic stuff I'm always talking about. You know, the stuff that turns people into zombies. Fortunately for the residents of New Haven, Connecticut, one brave drug dealer decided to lace whatever synthetic shit they were smoking with PCP, causing them to pass out and vomit instead of feasting on the flesh of the innocent. Seriously though, no one was permanently injured. Everybody was a little messed up for a while, but they've all been released from the hospital. Listen here, young viewers, I know this shit is legal in a lot of places, but don't smoke it. You'll eat a baby or something. Fuck me, man. Why are you calling me right now?
Preparing for our students' arrival and are ready to partner with parents to ensure our 17,856 students have a great year. I look forward to in our community this year to work as one team on one mission.
For the love of God, please stop tweeting me this next story. I saw it, and now I'm going to talk about it. A police commander out of Superior, Arizona was caught having sex on duty. Him being caught might have something to do with the fact that he recorded the sexual act on his official body camera, or it could be the fact that he took that video and then put it on his official computer under a folder named Funtime. In the Funtime folder, investigators also found 36 more gigabytes of pornography and nude pictures involving the involving the second in command of the police station. I mean, come on, if you want to do some role playing in your off time at home behind closed doors, that's all on you. But Funtime, a folder named Funtime on an official computer. Something interesting I did come across while researching this is that the Arizona Republic reports that the Superior Police Department hires substandard police officers to save money, and that all 9 of their officers had been fired or seriously disciplined by other departments before they were hired by the Superior PD. That's pretty interesting. I want to follow up on this. Oh, my battery just died. Lots of interruptions in this video. I'm gonna make it anyways. You can't stop me, world. Where were we? In other news, the ACLU out of Chicago, of all places, is asking officials to scale back police power when it comes to arresting someone, even when they're assaulting the police. This announcement comes 2 weeks after somehow angry people on Facebook were able to force police in Chicago to drop burglary charges on 3 grown men from the Chicago bait truck incident. The Chicago Tribune states, the suggested policy would encourage police officers to give warnings or divert people to mediation or public health programs rather than citing or locking them up. For a number of offenses, a supervisor would need to approve the arrest unless not practicable under these circumstances. Those crimes range from gambling and prostitution offenses to obstructing, resisting, or assaulting a police officer. That is correct. If you are a police officer and a person comes up and punches you in the face, you're expected to say, hey, don't do that. You need anger management. They also want a report to be written every time a taser or gun is pulled, and they would also like a policy on foot pursuits to be put into place. Is it just me, or does this sound like it's going to increase the crime problem in Chicago rather than decrease it? Oh, and by the way, 196 people have been shot in Chicago since the beginning of August, none of them by police. Got a crazy little story, kind of a gross story too, out of Lancaster, California, where a manager from a Winco food store noticed that a column in front of his store smelled really bad, and he, quote, saw some gooey liquid oozing out of the pillar onto the pavement. He assumed it was some kind of sewage leak and called a plumber, who came over, knocked a hole in the column, and saw a leg dangling down. It turns out that a few days earlier, a man had ran from police, crashed his car, and then ran into the grocery store and got on the roof somehow. Deputies chasing the man assumed that he had just escaped, ran out a side door, gotten away from them somehow. Well, he did get away from them right into the column in front of the grocery store. It turns out that during his attempt to hide from police, he either fell or squeezed himself down in the column to attempt to get away from them, where he sat in the column for several days in 100-degree weather. That is until the grocery store manager saw some death juices flowing out of his building. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. There's a new shirt up at donutoperator.com. It's a tactical Kencho! You guys asked for it, so I made it happen. By the time this video is released, I will be streaming at twitch.tv/donutoperator. I hope you enjoyed this video very much, and I want you all to have a very safe weekend and a fantastic day.